this video, I'm going to review X-Men 97, episode 1. It's the brand new animation, which just restarted basically the old X-Men from 1992, the animation back then. If you grew up watching that and loved that, then you will love this for sure. It's just a continuation of the last cartoon. So I'm just going to basically review and just show you some screenshots. So to see what you're missing out. You are sleeping on this. If you ain't watching this show and you like the X-Men, you are sleeping on this. This is a really, really good show. If you're not in animation, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, let's get into this and we bring up the screen here the way I want it. There we go. All right, so we got X-Men 97. Obviously, here is the name of the show. And right away, we start off with our very first mutant shown is Roberto da Costa. And I love him because, first of all, he got part of my last name, Costa, da Costa, same thing. He's Brazilian. I have a great-great-grandmother that's Brazilian. And he's cool. And he's got my name. So I have a particular love for his character. So the very first mutant you see on the show is Roberto da Costa, who doesn't really like showing his powers too much. But we'll get into that. And as you can see, also, it says they're written by Bo Tomeo. He's the one that is the main writer for this show. And then we have this little banner for the FOH, which is the Friends of Humanity. Well, Friends of Humanity are mutant haters. Basically, they're like the equivalent of the KKK, but for mutants. So yeah, they don't like mutants. They're like the only good mutants, a dead mutant type people. They're crazy. So this guy captured, and Roberto here, and you see that collar on his neck. That is a power dampening collar, so he cannot use his powers. They based that off of Sentinel technology. It's complicated, but anyway. But they captured him, and apparently somebody's telling them to capture all the mutants that they can because they're gonna use them for something. And he's like, "I didn't do anything." Oh, how much money do you want? Because he comes from a super rich family, and they're like, "Yeah, we think we care about money." So yeah, it's not looking good for him. Then all of a sudden they hear somebody coming, some majestic woman about to come in, and they've got their blasters. See those things in their hands? Are blasters also made from Sentinel technology. And they're like, "Oh, somebody's coming. Get ready to blast him." And who's coming? Who's coming? Aha, it's Storm. Storm herself in her majestic glory. Mistress of the elements, as she likes to say. So she comes in, and they're there to obviously rescue Roberta, because they are going to try to save mutants, because they're mutants, right? And then they start blasting. I'm like, come on, man. You don't know what you're dealing with right now. So they're starting to do that. And then, well, who shows up? Bishop. Bishop is back. Bishop from the future. He's actually from the future, and he's back with them. They don't really explain why, but he starts shooting at them with his guns. So Storm's got electric, not just electric, but weather powers. Anything to do with the weather, she can control it, manipulate it. And Bishop, he's got guns, but also if you shoot him with any kind of energy at all, he literally absorbs it and redirects it back at you. So I'm like, you were literally shooting him and you're giving him ammo to shoot you back. You're so dumb. So they're there, and now we got the team up. Storm and Bishop blast away. She's doing the lightning. He's shooting with guns. And then see the purple here? They powered him up. You stupid. Don't shoot Bishop with energy blast. He's gonna blast it back at you. See what you did? You're dumb. So now they're both blasting. Oh, here we go. We're gonna blast you back. But then all of a sudden Bishop noticed, uh-oh, see this machine over here on the left? That thing is about to blow up. He's like, "Storm, watch out, get out the way." Boom, and this thing blows up and knocks him out. Oh man, what are we gonna do now? They're knocked out. Who's gonna save Roberto? Who's gonna save Roberto? Boom, this explosion happens. You see all the smoke, and Roberto, you can see him back there. Everybody's like, "Yo, what the heck? What's going on? Who's this? Who's doing this? Oh, somebody coming out of the smoke there. Who is it?" It's Cyclops, the leader of the X-Men himself, who shoots optic blasts out of his eyes. He has this visor to control it, but whenever he opens his eyes, this concussive force from like another dimension, I guess, blasts out of his eyes. It's not laser or heat. It's just like force, like punching, punches basically. So he's getting ready to join in and try to save Roberto as well. Roberto's like, are you one of the good guys or the bad guys? And Cyclops, he's like, "Oh, we definitely one of the good guys here." So he gets ready to start blasting. Here we go. And here we go. Bam. He's blasting away, fighting. And then one of the guys is like, "Let's go get the big giant Sentinel hand thing and really blast these guys with this humongous version of the thing we're blasting with," thinking, that'll take care of him. So they turn it over and see that yellow, the orange thing right there. Getting ready to blast him with that. Cyclops still fighting. Roberto is. He's refusing to use his powers, so he's throwing skates because there's like I guess it's like a fake factory for skates. He's throwing skates at the dudes. Come on, Roberto, really? Use your powers. But they're blasting away. Cyclops notices, oh shoot, we getting ready to get blasted by the Sentinel hand. So he dies. He's like, Roberto, watch out, we gotta move out the way. And then they capture Cyclops with ropes, whatever. They shoot like these rope things at him. And you know, he's on the ground. You're like, uh-oh, what are we gonna do now? And they're like, take off his visor. Like they think like the visor is what's giving him powers. Big mistake, big mistake. And Cyclops is no, oh no, don't take my he's messing with him. Don't take my visor. I surrender. I surrender. And they're like, yeah, we got your visor now. How what you gonna do? Stupid. You don't even know what you're doing. Then Cyclops goes, and this is so 90s. He's like, I surrender. Not. And he blasts. Boom! The whole building gets blasted. He ain't got nothing to stop the blast out of his eyes. He needs the visor. And look at this. Glass flying everywhere. Just explosion all over. Then all of a sudden you see this newspaper fly by and you see Spider-Man mentioned on there. You see some mutants on there. Like, oh, we talking about Spider-Man. What? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So then we go back to the Xavier mansion. As you can see, they have a swimming pool in the back and they had a basketball court on the side there. That's where the school is, Xavier School. And here, somebody's making some beignets, and that's Gambit. He's making beignets wearing that crop top, which was not uncommon back then in those times, being kind of silly actually. Rogue enters in, and she's helping serve the beignets for them to have breakfast. And there they are. Cyclops is helping out too, just getting everything on the table so they can eat. And then all of a sudden, hold up. Professor Xavier, how is he here? Because what happened is they've been telling everybody that he's dead. They know he's not dead because even Rogue says since the professor's been gone. She didn't say since the professor died, he's been gone. So they know he ain't dead. But everybody else thinks he's dead. And so who is this? Well, this is, you have to find out. See that change there? That's Morph. And he's like, ha ha ha. You know, he loves to mess around. He's like the comedy of the show. He's just constantly goofing off, and he's really, really funny. He's super palsy with Wolverine, but he was just being silly. He always does it. And then Gambit, I don't know what the heck he was thinking. He takes one of the beignets and see how it's glowing purple there. He charges things with kinetic energy, tosses them, and when they hit something, it explodes. So I'm like, what you fitting to do right now, Gambit? Why are you charging one of the beignets you just made? Throws it at Cyclops. Cyclops getting ready to go, I'm gonna blast this thing. And then you see this little circle-y thing under there. That's Jean. She encases it in a telekinetic bubble to protect him, and then tosses it out the window. Like, Gambit, what were you thinking? Now you see, here she is, and quite preggers. She is pregnant. Jean, you're pregnant. And so there you are. You see her using her powers to throw the beignet out and let it explode outside. So there they are, and she's like, Gambit, what are you doing? Somebody could have got hurt. So he ain't taking it seriously. Now we're going back to Roberto. They saved Roberto. He's in the mansion, and he's just waking up. He's like, yo, what's going on? Where am I? What the heck? Why am I in this bed? What's going on? And then he turns and sees Beast hanging upside down from the ceiling, as he tends to do. And he's like, whoa, what the heck? And Beast introduces himself, and then he starts talking to him, saying, you know, I'm Beast. And he goes, oh, you're very blue. And he's like, oh, very astute, my boy, blah, 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 because you know how he talks. Then Julie shows up, and she's trying to explain, you know, who they are, what they're doing, yada, yada. And Beast is showing them that he's trying to fix this time bracelet kind of thing for Bishop, because Bishop needs to go back to his time, and that's what he used to get back to our time. So he's trying to see if he can fix it. And then Storm and Cyclops or Scott show up and start talking to Roberto, and they're like, we're trying to protect you. And Roberto's like, I'm just trying to get out of here. Get me out. How much money do I need to pay you? Where's my jacket? It was super expensive. Like, Roberto, we're trying to save your life. He's like, all right, fine. He finally agrees, and he's like, don't tell me there's nothing to do around here. And Jubilee's like, okay, well, you want something to do? We're gonna have something for you to do. And then they bring him to what's called the danger room, and here they have this, it's like holographic, but it also can be solid. Think of like Star Trek, the holodeck, if you know Star Trek at all. So they can create scenarios, and they train and fight in there and learn how to fight better. Then all of a sudden you see the old villain Magneto up above, and Roberto's not even taking it seriously at all. I was like, ooh, so scary, Jubilee. And then he's like, you're gonna ignore me. Magneto's like addressing him. You're gonna ignore me? And she's like, what's your power? What's your power? She's trying to get him to use her power. What's your power? Can you shoot gold balls out of yourself and da-da-da, or fly or whatever? He ain't having it. He's showing her power, nothing at all. Then all of a sudden Wolverine shows up, popping two of the side claws, not the middle one, thank God. And then Roberto at first was like, oh, so scary, Jubilee. You scared me so bad, thinking that this is another hologram. Nope. Wolverine goes hologram, like, turn off the danger room, whatever he says. I forget what it says. And then Roberto's face is like, oh, shoot, this ain't fake. This is real. And then Wolverine's like, is this scary enough for you, bub? So he's like, oh, it's real. Oh, my gosh. Then we go to Scott, looking at the original picture of the original X-Men, Beast, Angel, Jean, Scott, and Iceman. That is not Morph. I've heard people say, oh, Morph. That's not Morph. Iceman, before he really got a hold of using his powers properly, that's what he looked like. He looked like a big snowman with yellow boots on. It's not Morph. So he's looking at the picture, thinking about the old days. Everybody else is outside playing basketball, having fun, chilling, and Scott's like, well, if Professor was here, we'd be, training and not fooling around, da-da-da-da. And then they're looking at the death certificate because, again, they told the world that Xavier is dead. So they have an official death certificate and everything, thinking he's dead. Jean's talking to him, and she's like, now I'm pregnant, and we're gonna have a baby, and I want to be, she's trying to be like, we want to keep the baby safe, so I don't know if we want to stay around here. And he's like, wait, what? This is the X-Men team, yada yada. So they go outside. Jubilee's ticked off. She blasts Wolverine with her powers. It's plasma beams, I guess they call it, I think. And he's laughing. He thinks it's funny because he scared Roberto, who was with them, and Roberto took off and ran away. And now Jubilee's all ticked off. And so Scott's like, you guys are, not taking this seriously, yada yada. Now you need to go find Roberto, and he's yelling. Wolverine and Scott, they do not get along. They do. It's a love-hate relationship kind of thing. Like, they respect each other, but both of them, to be honest, love Jean. So, but Jean is Scott's girl. But Wolverine, he always had the hots for her. He always did. So he's always like, oh, you Boy Scout, talking to Scott, whatever. And he's like, all right, we'll go find him. So they go find him, and he's in a nightclub. And when Wolverine finds things by scent, he's like how an animal finds things by smelling it. He's like, oh, bro, there's too many people in here. There's too many scents. This is going to be hard to find him. And then Gambit and Rogue go up there. Gambit, I told you, charges things with kinetic energy, and when they hit something, it blows up. Rogue absorbs powers by touching you. So she has to always cover up, because if you accidentally touch her, she not only absorbs your powers, she absorbs your memories, and it may knock you out, put you in a coma even. That's the first time that ever her powers manifested. She put a kid in a coma because he kissed her and she didn't know what was even going on. So that's what her powers. And then Morph and Wolverine are talking, and Morph knows that he got the hots for Jean, and he's kind of like mocking whatever, but discussing things. And then all of a sudden, in the background there is the FOH, the Friends of Humanity, and they're like, oh, we gotta deal with these guys now. So there they are. They're looking for Roberto too. And Roberto Leary is having the time of his life, living his best life with glow sticks, y'all, dancing. Da, da, da. And then Jubilee, he's like, come on, dance with me. She's like, come on, we got to get out of here. We take this seriously. He's like, just one dance. She's like, all right, fine, I'll dance. And then she's using her powers. Like, you're in public, right? You're in public. Anyway, I think that's crazy. So there they are dancing. She's using her powers. You're crazy, I think. And then Wolverine's like, all right, we came to get you. Friends of Humanity see the hat FOH. So they're trying to come after you. We need to keep you safe. So anyway, then you go to this scene, which is a prison. And in this prison is Henry Gyrick, who supposedly killed Xavier. He didn't really kill Xavier. He did shoot him, but Xavier didn't die. He was kind of mortally wounded. That's a story for another time. But Xavier is still alive. But, the world thinks he's not. Anyway, so Storm and Scott, they're talking to him and trying to pump him for information. He's like, I ain't telling you nothing, blah, blah, blah. So, and you see Bishop in the reflection there. You can see him in the window. They're trying to get him to tell, where is the Sentinels? We know you got more Sentinels out there. They're trying, so you could try to kill more mutants. But he's like, I ain't telling you nothing, basically. And he's looking at Storm, and he's like, nope, you don't scare me, yada, yada, yada. And then Scott's like, oh, okay, we don't scare you? We don't scare. Let me see if my wife can get some information out of you. And Jean with Cerebro is this thing on her head right there, and it amplifies her telepathic powers so she can read minds even better and find things better. And she goes in rather to his mind and is trying to scan his mind. He's like, get out of my head, yada, yada. And she's reading his mind. She's like, you can't escape my mind telepathy, da, da, da. She's going to get the information. But then, and there she is in the danger room doing, or not the danger room, but in the mansion doing that. And then all of a sudden, she starts having a vision. What are these eyes? What's going on? Who is these eyes? She's having a weird vision in the middle of trying to scan him, a vision. So all of a sudden she sees this crayon looking like a kid drawing a picture, seeing herself pregnant. She's like, what in the world? Now she's falling down from the sky in her X-Men outfit. Now she's looking at her stomach. She's like, wait, my baby. I'm not pregnant no more. Where's the baby at? And then she sees in the distance the baby cradle. Oh, there's the baby. And now she's holding the baby. This is all a vision. It's like happening. Boom, boom, boom. And then she sees the baby. There's the baby, which hasn't even been born yet. So that's going to be the baby that she's going to have. And then all of a sudden she sees this sandstorm with a face saying, I'm so sorry. Again, she don't know what's going on. What is this? What's this vision I'm having? Whatever. Then she sees this big old demonic looking sentinel thing, giant sentinel, declaring he's going to, kill mutants basically. And then he blasts this green thing and you see all these graves, hundreds and hundreds of gravestones, basically representing we're going to kill you all, And then she's like, she finally snaps out of it. She's like, she's freaking out. And then, so that's the end of that. Then they get in the, oh my gosh, what's the name of this plane? Somebody help me. Not Quinjet. That's the Avengers. Blackbird. I'm at a brain fart, y'all. It's late. And so they're going to fly to see if they can find where these sentinels are and just take them out once and for all. Here they are. They're flying, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, boom, that gets blasted. As you can see, there's like glass flying and a hole in the up there in the ceiling. And they're like holding on. The wind's blowing. And like, what in the world? And then all of a sudden, oh, it's a sentinel. These giant sentinel robot things that are designed to kill mutants. One of them grabs Scott. He starts blasting with his eyes whenever he's trying to blast them, as you can see here. And then everybody else is still on the plane, but they're holding on for dear life. But that thing ain't about to last very long. They blow it up, and now everybody's in the air. And like, oh gosh, people that fly probably ain't worried at all, of course. But what's everybody else going to do? Storm and Rogue, who can both fly, like, we got this. We got this. And then they go flying. Now this looks like Archangel, the character from the old cartoon as well, but it's not. It's morphed into a flyer. Very smart. So he can now fly, and he goes to save his buddy Wolverine. So we got Wolverine covered. Cyclops, he ain't even worried about nothing. What does he do? He ain't worried about he can't fly. He blasts the ground straight down to the ground so that it'll soften the fall. Most epic thing, one of the most epic things I've ever seen in animation. And there he is blasting the ground. Nobody needs to catch me. I got this. He blasts the ground. What? That was amazing. There he is, lands. He's fine. He's totally cool. And then everybody's there. Everybody's landing. He's like, all right, let's go, X-Men. Let's do our thing. And there is this one's called the Master Mold. This one's even bigger than regular ones. And this one manufactures the giant sentinels. But this is even more giant because it actually makes them. And then this is Trask. And he's like, you mutants, yada. He hates them. He made the sentinels, yada, yada, yada. So he's like, oh, we going to get you now. We got the sentinels, yada, yada. And he activates the sentinels, which are all around. However, they messed up. Look at that. They're not exactly up to specs here. They're kind of messed up. So it's like, I don't know what happened, but he activates them and they're like, oh, okay, we about to get it on. Let's go. Gambit charges a car. Wolverine pops his claws out and get ready to fight. Morph is like, oh, there's another one. They're like all over the place. Like it was like a garbage place. And there's another one, just turns on, activates, and like, what the heck? Somebody took a head of one and threw it at the other head, knocked that out. And they're starting to blast. The Sentinels are starting to try to blast them. Wolverine, he does what he does. He's best at what he does. He always says he's starting to slice and dice at the Sentinel there. And there he is. Wah, wah, wah. And then Beast actually gets one off balance as he lifts his foot up and tips it over, and then goes on top of it, starts to pull out his insides, gets inside the thing, and he starts to control the Sentinel. And with the Sentinel, he starts hitting the other Sentinels with his Sentinel. Now, here we go. What do we say about Bishop? When you blast him with energy, what's going to happen? He's going to absorb it all, and he's going to blast it back at you. Stop being stupid. Don't blast Bishop. He's going to blast it at you. And there he goes, blasting the Sentinel. Why are you doing this? You're dumb. You never learn. Then Cyclops says one of the most amazing lines ever. Doesn't even say who he's talking about, but you quickly figure it out. He's talking to somebody. That's a communicator, just like Star Trek. So many Star Trek similarities. He hits that, and he just says, give him the forecast. The forecast? We know who does weather, right? You know who's about to come. Storm! Storm is coming. And then the Sentinels are like, Omega mutant detected. They're like, uh-oh. And here she comes with the lightning blasting. And there she is, getting ready to blast them with all her fury. She, even as she's walking around, she's turning the sand into glass. What? And so what she's going to do is make like a tornado, and the Sentinels are going to be all in the tornado, and the glass that's going to cut them up to shreds. They're flying around, getting decimated. And now pieces are just falling to the ground. And it's like, yeah, look at that. All over the place, they're just falling to the ground. And now the Master Mold, he's like, oh, you've underestimated me. Da, 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 da. And they're like, oh, here we go. This guy won't give up. So this we saw in the previews. Gambit somehow charges Wolverine's claws. Now, I don't know how he charged only the claws, because the claws are part of his entire skeleton. But somehow he charged only the claws. Don't know how that works, but he did. Got in his back and charged the claws. And then he says, Morph. I forgot what he said exactly, but he wants Morph to turn into Blob. And Blob is this very obese guy. And he wants to jump on top of him so he can bounce up. So there's Morph, and he's changing into Blob. That's what Blob looks like. And then Wolverine gets on him and bounces off of Morph as Blob. And then heads right for the Sentinel with the charged claws and decapitates the Master Mold Sentinel. Boom. Thing ain't got no head, and there's the head, and yeah. Then the government arrives. Valerie Cooper and the government, they're like, oh, thank you for taking care of this. You found him, yada yada. There's Val Cooper and the helicopter military come in, and they capture and arrest Trask, who you see on the ground there, and he ain't happy at all. Obviously, he's like, basically, you don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. We're still gonna get you. Blah 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 blah. Whatever, villain stuff. And everybody's like, we did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. So they're all good. Now Jubilee and Sunspot are talking. She's getting to know him better, and she's like, why don't you want to use your powers? And he's trying to explain. It's a secret because my parents wouldn't understand, and he knows that they're probably not going to understand. It's awkward for him. He don't really want to reveal it to anybody in his family. His parents are rich, and the people wouldn't understand, and it might affect their finances, yada yada yada. And he briefly shows her what his powers looks like by charging up his arm there. His powers are solar based. He needs the sun to keep charging him up, and he gets super strong and can fly. And then he's like, here, I'm gonna go, but here's my card, Roberto da Costa there. Give me a call. Maybe I'll let you fly my jet, since they won't let you fly their jet. So, yeah. Now here we go, playing basketball again, and having fun. And then, yeah, they're just about to play basketball. Well, Scott is the leader. And then all of a sudden, Beast is like, uh-oh, proximity alert, 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 something's going on. We got an alarm going off. What's going on? Alert, alert. And they're like, somebody's in the professor's old room in his office there. So they bust into the office and like, who's in the office? Obviously. And they're like, get ready to fight. Look at them. They're all ready to fight. We ready to fight. Who is in the office? Who is in here? And then you see somebody holding the books that says, The Last Will and Testament of Charles Francis Xavier. Who is this? Oh, it's Magneto, the guy that was shown in the Danger Room earlier. And Magneto and Xavier used to be like besties way back in the day when they were young, but they have different visions of how humans and mutants can get along. Xavier's like, we just need to get along. Figure it out. We'll get along with them. And Magneto's like, no, we never gonna get along. What's wrong with you? We're not gonna get along. They're always gonna hate us. Wake up, dude. So they have varying different opinions about how to deal with humans versus mutants. And so he's like, yo, This last will and testament, Charles Xavier, your professor, he willed everything to me. So you're now my X-Men. It's like, what? And then the show ends. And then we get, now this is a callback from the old show. They used to do this at the end of the show. So it shows each of the people and what their powers are. So Cyclops emits concussive beams from his eyes. Jean possesses telepathic and telekinetic powers. Gambit charges objects with explosive kinetic energy. Storm ability control, manipulate the forces of nature. Beast possesses superhuman strength and agility and a genius level intellect. He's super duper smart, obviously. And Jubilee generates explosive pyrotechnic energy plasmoids. And Bishop from the future can absorb and discharge most forms of energy. And Morph transforms their voice and body to impersonate anyone and gain their physical abilities. So he can literally mimic somebody's physical abilities. So if you have, if your powers are super strong, he can mimic that super strength. I've never seen him mimic an energy-based power. It's always been physical, which is interesting. And then, yeah, that's the end of the show. You see another shot of the Xavier Institute. And that's it, Marvel Studios. So it's really good. I mean, like I said, if you're not into animation, you may not give a rip, but I love it. It's great. Whether I do more of these or not is to be determined. We shall see. But I enjoy it. If you like animation, if you like the original, if you were a kid and you liked the original, you will love it. I don't see how you couldn't love this, because it's literally a continuation of our childhood. You feel like a kid again. So that's a review of the first episode to catch you up if you don't actually want to watch it. And hopefully, maybe my excitement hopefully inspired you to maybe check it out. It's a good show. I like it. So the last one I just saw was number 8, and it's a 3-part ending. We got 10 episodes. I just saw number 8, so I got 2 more episodes after today. But that was a review of the very, very first episode. So yeah, check it out. It's a pretty cool show. All right. And with that, I am going to end it. So I hope you enjoy the show. If you do like the show, if I inspired you to give it a chance, watch it, put it in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion, see if you liked it or not. And if you didn't like it, you can tell me that too. So, and if you could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Everybody, all the YouTubers and all them people say that. So I appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoy it. I like it. Hopefully my excitement made you might possibly want to watch it. But again, if you watched it when you were young, you'll love it. It gets better and better. Like, how can you, it's like it keeps topping. Like, how do you keep getting better and better? It's like the next one's not gonna be as good, and it's amazing again. So excellent job. Definitely consider watching it, especially if you like the original cartoon in 1992. All right, I'm out. Appreciate it. And again, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, leave me some comments. I appreciate it. All right, if I get some good reception, then maybe I'll do some more of these reviews. All right, I'm out. I'll see you next time.